Hello there, YouTube. This is a spider hauling trailer. How about that, huh? I asked them, they said it was a spider trailer, and I was hoping it was something that wasn't going to be hauled by a spider. But it's not. It's for hauling a spider. So, hopefully, you're not going to notice drastic exposure changes as I'm driving down the road here. You know how my Hero 4 goes bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. Just this non-stop nightmare. Should I be going a different direction? I don't think I can loop out of this thing now, but I think I'm going to. We're going to abandon this idea. Just going to head up the hill and get on the freeway the old-fashioned way. Something's going on 500. Hopefully it's not going on 205. Ooh, that's a horrible thought. I guess I can see it before I actually make the turn. Or we'd maybe taking back roads for a different reason today. But anyway, talking about the exposure, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. And all the lockups I had trying to do the, I don't know if I talked about that this morning, but Kelly and I did a dual vlog on the iron. Went out to the Meekler Road Bridge, showed her that little piece of expansion that's still left there on the east side of the bridge that I discovered on the Road King, which I took you guys through. Anyway, the thing was a bust. The camera kept locking up, and the only way I could get it to unlock was to pull the battery, and it was amazingly hot when I pulled it out. So I don't see anybody else having these strange ass exposure issues with their 4s. So what you're looking through right now is a brand spanking new Hero 4 Black. So I meant to do it this morning. So do we got gridlock out here? Which way is oh boy, look at that. It's a southbound lane. Alrighty there, YouTube, I'm back. So hopefully it's not just something weird with the bikes where they're picking up the darkness of the bike and then the brightness outside. But why would the 4 do it and not the 3 Plus? The 3 Plus, my 3 was flawless other than having horrible battery life. And I mean the regular 3. I think I had a couple of them. I've had a couple of 3 Pluses and never had an issue. They've always been flawless. Every GoPro I've ever had has been flawless. And suddenly the 4 decides to be a booger. So I think it was after it started doing all these weird lockups yesterday, I think the camera's it's got a problem. I even switched a memory card thinking maybe I got a corrupt card or something. And that didn't help either. It still kept locking up. And you know, I made sure I had a GoPro battery in it, not one of the whatever the hell you call them, Smart Tree batteries. And even switched to a Smart Tree battery to see if that'd make a difference. New card, new battery. It just kept locking up, and that was the end of the 4. It would record for just a couple of minutes, and then it would make this steady beep. It was almost like it was going into an overheat mode. But the first time I did it, I didn't realize that I kept asking Kelly, I said, do you hear that beep? And she goes, no, I don't hear anything. And it got really hot. So I tried getting it to go again, and it stopped immediately. So I pulled it out of its case, and it was quite breezy when we were up there, and we're in a cool shade. So I just let the camera, you know, sit there and had a Harley backpack that she was wearing, and just laid it out, let everything cool off, and started again, and she locked right back up again. So that's it. The 4 silver's gone. Well, actually I still have it, but I need to gather all the gear, because what I did, I paid for this one today, and then when I bring the 4 back, they'll credit me back that in the morning. So that's that for that. Hopefully the 4 black is going to be more reliable than the 4 silver. I haven't heard anybody having issues. A lot of people complaining about the shortened battery life, but I complained about that as well, but that's not mine. Just something else was going on with it, and I don't know what that crazy switching back and forth of exposure bias there. It was like like flipping back and forth, and it's done that all along. And the only time I ever used the 4 was in that Cena waterproof case, initially, and I thought it was light bleeding into that case. So I got in there with a Sharpie and darkened everything up where light could leak in, and didn't make a difference. And where I knew it was the camera, as I was testing out this little polarizer filter in the little protective lens cap, I was walking around the backyard with it, and it was flipping back and forth. It was going bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. And the worst thing is when it makes the change, it's like at the wrong time. It overexposes and underexposes when it makes the change. Then all of a sudden it'll be perfect for a second, and then it'll flip to overexposure, flip to underexposure. But you guys have watched them. You guys have left comments and stuff saying I thought my iPad was dead, or my computer was freaking out, or my TV or whatever. Nope. It was just my video doing it. So we're supposed to get into massive thunderstorms tomorrow. We got this little spell of warm weather, and we're going to be backed up by some thunderstorms, and she's going to get all ugly on us. Kick this up to quiet it down a little bit. It creates some negative pressure behind the shield that rolls, and it kind of now pushes the air behind me, that I don't prefer it doing that. So whenever I'm not vlogging, the shield is always down. Actually, most of the time I vlog with it down anyway, but I'm hitting a headwind that's enough, and with all the cars, it's starting to make for some buffeting of the head. Plus, it's probably loud to you guys. But man, I must have way too many GoPros or something. It's amazing how quick I got this thing set up and rolling with username, password, and the whole deal. It seems like when I went to the 3 Plus, it took me a bit to figure it out, because I think I ran those 3s for almost a full year. And how you forget what the little nuances are for getting everything hooked up. Plus things changed, the app and the different things have changed on them too, so that's another deal. But yeah, very easy to get set up. Put a spare 64 gig card in it and grab one of my Smart Tree batteries and plopped in it, and we're off and running. And here we are, rolling along with a Hero 4 Black. It's funny, by default, it's set at where I normally shoot. It's at 1080p Super View at 30 frames per second. But I did switch it over to 60 frames per second. That's the one thing the 4 was doing. I was doing some 60 frames per second with the 3 Plus, and I got quite a few you guys saying that when I'd get into foliage that the picture would pixelate real bad. So I quit doing that with the 3 Plus. And 60 frames per second does make for a little smoother video, but it's not huge. But the crazy thing is the camera must be more efficient at 60 frames per second, because I actually gain a few minutes of recording time memory-wise. So that's kind of wild. Seems like the old Hero 3, it doubled the amount of memory that was used. So like, say you had a 32 gig in there and you had a couple hours, it'd go to 1 hour when you put it in 60 frames. And anyway, but it does, you know, even though I'm not doing a lot of fast action stuff or anything, it does, I personally think it makes for a little smoother video. Are you kidding me? Am I going to have to hit Kalama again? Yeah, with all that traffic stuff, I don't know what was going on southbound 205, but all I gotta say is I'm glad I'm going north. That was a mess. I knew something was up because I was going to go that Coxley Lane that goes behind our store and take a right on Gurr and then a right on to SR 500, and then the exit's like literally an eighth of a mile. But it's never backed up, so I knew something had to be going on. Glad I turned around. I could still be waiting. But anyway, so there's my announcement of the Hero 4 Black. Nothing exciting there. I'll use it the same as I do all my other ones at 1080p until things change to a point that it's necessary to shoot in 4, or that's the only way to shoot is 4. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of people's stuff needs to get upgraded to run that. My brand new computer, because you can shoot, you know, with the 3 Plus and the 4 Silver, you can shoot in 4K, but it's only at 15 frames per second. So there can't be a lot of fast movement there. But yeah, my computer, it's a new one, and it crunches video. I'm surprised it works as well as it does, and crunches videos out at the most insane rate. Man, it's incredible. A 30-minute video is just under 8 gigs, and it'll process that video in about a minute and a half. Man, it is a powerhouse. And it wasn't a very expensive Dell. You know, it's 4th generation quad-core Intel. So, you know, but it doesn't have a dedicated graphics card. It's the built-in, whatever the hell that is, the Intel graphics or whatever. So I really did not expect much out of this thing at all. My old Sony Vaio had a NVIDIA or whatever it was graphics card. It was a bad boy at the time. I think I paid like $2,600 for that computer in November. Yeah, it was November of '06. And it was just, you know, an old dual core. I forget what the gigahertz were. It was a bad boy at the time. Way better screen than my Dell has, though. I mean, by a huge margin. That screen on that old Vaio is really, really nice. It's like looking at an iPad or something. It's, you know, it's at really super high definition and just the most incredible colors. And I've run the I forget what it's even called now, the little eye thing to color correct, to make sure your monitor's color correct. If you're into photography at all, you know what I'm talking about. You don't need to be processing and editing photos on a non-color correct monitor. I'll get you in trouble quick. But anyway, that thing, the most minor adjustment to it. But anyway, that's all other stuff to talk about. And I've been going too long, and I really had nothing to talk about. Just some announcements, and I have a way of even dragging that on forever. So let me get a little bit farther north, and hopefully it doesn't rain, because I have no rain gear whatsoever. The only thing that's even remotely waterproof is that Joe Rocket coat, which was, if I remember right, it actually had a tag on it that said guaranteed waterproof. I must have misread that thing, because it's guaranteed to leak. It leaks in the vents and the up on the arms, and then it just works its way in from there. But that coat is crazy old too. That thing's probably 13 years old. But it's, I mean, other than leaking a little bit, and it's not terrible. I shouldn't badmouth it, but it's nothing like the first gear stuff that is. I mean, I've been in some of the craziest rains with those coats. I've got two of them. I've got the Kilimanjaro or the Kathmandu. Yeah, I got the Kathmandu and the TPG Rainier, both of them first gear. The most incredible waterproof jackets I've ever owned. I mean, nothing ever gets through. Insane downpours. But anyway, I got another phone call going, so I'm gonna let you guys go. Take care now. Bye-bye. Well, hello there, YouTube. It's been a fight trying to get home without getting wet. I don't know when the rain's supposed to start, but there's a few places here it looks like that could be quite soon. So I'm in Toledo. I'm taking old Smoky Valley out towards my house. This is the old road that swings by the creek and the cedar mill, which you guys ought to be all so familiar with. Oh, these rough roads sure are nice on a spider. That thing just kind of soaks all that stuff up. There's really nice suspension on these things. Kind of loaf along. Nice and comfortable. It is quite cold back here. And the bike is saying 60, but I've been driving in 60 with fingerless gloves and a denim jacket. That's a little too much. And with the shield being up, and I'm trying to avoid a bunch of wind, the shield being up is creating a suction from behind. That's probably too noisy for you. I like it being down a lot. Just everything's just all open in front of me. I know from the angle you're viewing, it's not that way, but if I could put a GoPro right in my eyesight, that would be the ultimate thing. But for obvious reasons, that would be a good idea. A lot of times you come out here and there's a bunch of elk out in these fields. It's the wrong time of year for it, but you never know. Sometimes they do strange things. Lone ewe. Out in this backfield over here is where you see elk out there a lot. There's huge herds of them. See all kinds of crazy things out here. Up at Silver Lake, somebody was raising minks, like a mink coat, and somehow they got released to the wild. And the first time I seen that when I was driving home one day. I think I might have even been on a bike. I'm going along around Silver Lake, and that old mink, he must have been down there getting him a drink of water or something. Come flying across the road. I'm like, God, what the hell is that? Couldn't figure out what the hell it was. And I finally asked somebody that, well, actually I was talking to somebody at work that knew about it. I go, oh yeah, up there at Silver Lake, there's the old so-and-so. Quit raising them or something, just let them go. So there's a whole family of minks roaming around up there. The crazy things you see. Yeah, buddy. The storms, they are brewing. Needless to say, I will not be driving tomorrow. It's supposed to be a thunderclapper tomorrow. I love thunderstorms. That's the one thing I miss about the South is that frequent thunderstorms. That's funny. That guy used to keep his yard all so neat and tidy. I don't know what his story is. Maybe his lawnmower broke. Speaking of old lawnmowers, found out that the damn steering's about to go out on my old Craftsman. Got a 52-inch Craftsman with a 25 horse twin cylinder Briggs and scrap iron, and starting to pull to the left a lot, and I noticed I had a hard time turning right, and she turned crazy sharp to the left. Find out it has this like kind of a floating formed axle that, you know, floats about, and the wheels have a shaft to come in, and the axle just comes out, you know. Well, in that pipe where the wheels pivot, the left one is like split in half, and where it was round, it's if you can imagine a pipe, it's like split at the bottom, and the pipe is separating. So the wheel's riding all cockeyed. You can literally stand up on the lawnmower and look forward, and you can see the left wheel is actually riding farther behind, because the whole axle, on the left side she's about to snap in half. So I was very gentle the last half of my lawn there. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. There's a guy out here, I need to stop and get the number. He's got a Troy-built rider that looks like it's around a 52. He's got for sale. Let's see what he's looking for that. That was part of the vlog, the dual vlog of Kelly and I on the iron yesterday that the Hero 4 Silver murdered. Man, it is windy out here. I'm telling you, the storm is a-coming. Jeez, and I'm freezing. It's still showing 59. I question sometimes whether those things are right. But they usually are. It's just, for whatever reason, you're being more sensitive to the cold. Of course, probably had nothing to do with the last 70 miles or so I've been driving in it. But it was noticeably warmer in Vancouver, which it always is. You're in the city and you're farther south, and the old moo cows in for their feeding. Look at the rays of light coming down through them clouds. The old cedar mill. You know, there's just some things I just never get accomplished. Something as simple as going out there and just getting a couple of chunks of wood and putting up a post or something. Say, who wants a chunk of the cedar mill? Cedar tree from the cedar mill from old Toledo, Washington. I was going to take tours out there. Wow. It's just, I don't know how I never find the time for these things. Oh yeah, look at them light rays coming through there and a couple of geese flying by in the distance. How freaking cool is that? Well, guess what time it is? It's time for me to say adios. Get myself the rest of the way home here before the whatever catches up with me. Oh, it's raining now. Oh yeah, I'm starting to get sprinkles. Oh shit, I gotta go. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for hanging out on my ride to and from work once again. Hope I had something interesting to talk about. But anyway, I gotta get up here. I have this camera's open, my phone's on my hip. I don't need to get wet. So, wow, come on. So I need to let you go. Oh yeah, it's starting to actually come down pretty good here. So I gotta go. We'll talk at you later now. See ya. Bye-bye.